there! So there's two important calls that people can make as part of a career transition, and what I've noticed is that a lot of people are getting these two calls confused. And so I thought I'd make a video where I clear up what the two different calls are as part of a career transition, where you want to use them and what the point of each one is and why you don't want to get them mixed up. So I'm Carrie Twig, I'm a career contentment coach and best-selling author of The Career Stories Method. All right, so what are the two different calls? The two different calls are a discovery call and a networking call. The first call that you want, and these could be emails too, they could be messages, I'm just saying calls. So the first call is a discovery call. And the point of discovery call is to get information about a sector or about a company. And it comes about, I would say it comes about a quarter into your search. So if you've made a decision to make a career transition, you're going to start your search by figuring out what makes you awesome, doing some reflections on that, reflection on your values, starting to put in some healthy habits that are going to help you stay grounded during this process as you put yourself out there. You're going to do reflections about your ideal workplace, the kind of people you want to work with, all of those things. And if you're not sure how to do that, my book, The Career Stories Method, the first 5 chapters are actually about that. So the first 5 chapters set you up this much to figure all of that stuff out. So finding the perfect work environment, loving yourself, and figuring out what makes you awesome. And when you know that, then you want to move into step 5, which is experiment and test, and also do your discovery calls. So the point of a discovery call is to figure out everything that you can about a sector, about a certain kind of job, or a company that you're thinking about. And usually you reach out to the person and you say, hey, I am in the midst of a career transition. I'm thinking that I would like to transition to, name whatever title they have, wondering if you have 5 or 10 minutes to tell me what it's like to work in this place. And you're just like, it's a general, I want some information. You're not asking for a job. And when you get onto those calls, it's okay for you to not know exactly what you want. Right? Because it's part of a discovery call. So you've opened it up with, I'm thinking that this might be right, but I'd love to talk to you more to see if it is right for me. And then you can let the other person share what it's like to do that job. And what you're listening for is you're listening for the words that they use. You're listening for any like courses or programs or projects that they've been involved in that set them up to succeed in the role. You're listening for, is it the details of what they do in the day-to-day to see if it would be a match based on the reflections that you've done about, what you actually enjoy in a job. And it's a very kind of like low status, low stakes call. You're really just gathering information. And you want to do these calls with people who have the job that you're thinking about going for. You're not looking to talk to people who hire those people yet. Because if you go into a call like that, which I think is a networking call, you're not ready to really sell yourself. You're not ready to present yourself in a way that if a decision maker got interested in you, you're going to leave a really great impression. And you don't even know if you want to do that work yet. And so it's better to start with a discovery call, which is like an information, think of it as like information gathering. It's low stakes. You're getting the information so that you can make a decision. Now, after you've done several discovery calls, maybe you've taken a class, maybe you've done a side project, and you've made a decision and you go, oh yeah, I know exactly what I want to transition to. that's when you want to start making networking calls. And networking calls are strategic calls to people who would be hiring people like you for the job that you want. And those ones sound different in that you're not calling and saying, hey, I'm trying to figure out if I even want to do this. You're calling and saying, hey, I'm transitioning to, and naming the kind of job you want. I'm transitioning to, the job title. And I'm wondering, if there's any opportunities within your company. Or I'm thinking about transitioning to here, and through my research, it looks like your company could use somebody with these skills. Could we have a conversation? And the conversation in a networking call is always to try and get the gig. It's not to gather information. It's not to pick people's brains. It's not to do any of that stuff. The networking call is to start putting a plan into place. And if they can't hire you, can they put you in touch with somebody else who might be looking for someone like you? So what I'm noticing is that a lot of people, when they are doing discovery calls, are calling people who should be their networking call people. And what happens is that the impression that they make, their first impression, is not strong enough because they come off as confused and unsure, and they don't know really the right words to be using yet, or how their skills relate to that new sector or that new role. And they're talking to a decision maker whose first impression is being made of them. And they're going, this person seems a little bit confused and lost. And they're not going to, offer you something. And in fact, what might happen is they'll just go, oh, that was a real waste of time because this person is completely confused. And then you have somebody who with the power to actually have given you a job who thinks of you as somebody who's just not sure of themselves. And so you want to save your unsuredness for those first discovery calls, for people who can't hire you, for people who can give you the information. And then you want to, when you have the information, when you have a couple of scripts on how to introduce yourself, they don't have to be, robotic, but they can be a little bit more natural. When you know the words, when you know the concerns about that sector, and how you'll impact it. When you've done all that work and you can come in and go yeah, you would rather wow a decision maker with your knowledge of yourself and how it relates to this new role and how you can help than to make them feel like they kind of wasted their time because you don't really know what you want. And so it's always fair to ask yourself, okay, am I in the discovery call phase or am I in the networking call phase? And be honest about where you're at. And if your answer is, yeah, I don't know what I want to do next, and I don't know how to describe or introduce myself with confidence, or even what this job entails, well, you're discovery, and that's great. And then after some discovery calls and some reflection and some other experiences that you might have, when you know your skills and how to introduce and the impact that you can make, and you can share that in a concise and engaging way, then go and make those networking calls. But don't rush into it, right? All right, thank you, good luck, happy call making. I hope that they all give you all the information and opportunities that you want. Bye.